Hey, Frank, it's Mike Trudell back in the studio. Just wondered quickly if you had anything more on AD and getting poked in the eye there in the first quarter.
Yeah, just like you said, poked in the eye, and he'll be day to day. Be reevaluated tomorrow. See how it responds overnight.
Frank, the last couple of weeks, you'd mentioned how well Kyle Kuzma had played in practice, and you also said you were excited to see what Dion Waiters could do in a secondary ball handling, creating role. Anything about today's game that made you think about that and how that could apply moving forward as you guys approach the postseason?
Well, you saw it play out. I mean, both of those guys had exceptional games. In particular, Kyle Kuzma, he did that. What he did today, he did all through our restart training camp, so to speak. And I'm just really excited about, what the restart is going to look like for him. After starting a regular season in a different role with injuries, not quite in rhythm, and just battling, some of those things. To have a fresh mindset of being healthy and a second training camp, so to speak, really seems to have benefited him. We saw him play exceptional tonight, and I just think that's going to be a huge piece for us going into the playoffs. And Dion, same thing. Dion was really good. He just gives us a different dynamic. We have catch and shoot shooters, plenty of them, but what he's able to do. Handling the ball on pick and rolls, playmaking, making big shots like he did tonight. We're excited about that as well.
Hey, Frank, it's David Guedeman in LA. I was looking up some of your old Pacers playoff teams, and it seemed like you went about 8.5 guys deep in some of those playoff runs. And I wonder how deep you can go with this group when the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I actually, for the most part, stayed with a 10-man rotation for a lot of those series. In certain series, you shrink it a little bit more. I think playing against LeBron, we had certain defenders we wanted to make sure we had on him. But I traditionally will go in, continuing to use my depth and then adjust as the series goes along. And that will be the same thing with our group here because, we got a lot of guys that can play that I trust. That can contribute, and we'll see what each of those skill set fits that series, fits that opponent.
Joe Varden.
JR hasn't played in 2 years almost. And he's getting first quarter rotation minutes with you at least today. Are you looking at him in that way, or is this more about just kind of getting him back into some kind of NBA rhythm?
Well, right now he and Dion are wing depth, and I trust his ability to play. Just watching him in our training camp a little bit the other night in the first scrimmage game. What I love about him is how hard he plays, and how he understands team defense. Those things that being through the playoff battles with the Cavs over those years. They strengthen a lot of those habits, and he hasn't played organized in a long time, but he stays in great shape. He plays a lot of basketball still, and we'll see what his role looks like. Right now, I'm just trying to get everybody minutes and rhythm and see how they fit into the way we do things, and we'll sort of divvy out final roles once we get into the games.
Tanya Ganguli.
We talked about the team's chemistry a lot this year. It seems from the outside, at least, like JR and Dion have kind of fit pretty seamlessly into it. Is that what you're seeing also?
It is. I've been happy with it. Both of those guys play the game with an edge. And, you always got to make sure that guys like that fit in with a new group. But so far, LeBron is so good, and AD, so they're so good with just, making new guys feel welcome and making sure that the group is doing things on and off the court to achieve that togetherness that has been such a strength for us. So, obviously JR has history with Bron. He's fit in with our coaching staff here very well. And then, Dion as well. Dion, further back history. But those guys have been fitting in very well with our group.
Hey, Frank, it's Bill Oram. Back to Kuz. His 3-point numbers were obviously down this year, but those first 4 threes he made today were all kind of catch and shoot situations. I'm wondering if that is by design for you guys, if that's how you want him getting his threes. And then also, he said he made a couple tweaks to his shot. I'm just curious how different, if at all, that looks to you from earlier in the year.
Well, he's making a higher rate of them, you know. And, look, during the hiatus and the pandemic, guys were not allowed to do anything but shoot the basketball, and you know, you could deduct that, you know, all those 1-on-0 shooting workouts, and, you know, if he made a tweak or two here with his shot, like all shooters will do, could have benefited him. The catch and shoot variety that he got tonight, obviously those are the best ones. You know, we want to minimize how much we're shooting off the bounce, but punish if teams go under. And, you know, we'll take them however we can get them, as long as they're open. And, you know, hopefully, you know, we see, you know, improved consistency on that front with Kyle.
Frank, I actually have two questions. One as a follow-up with Kyle. I know you only were able to look at him very little before he got injured, Team USA. But do you feel like the start he's having now in practice and in scrimmages might have been what he had if he hadn't gotten injured? Was that what he's trending toward?
I really believe that. I do. You know, he just, it's tough to have your legs under you when you don't have the training camp that everybody else had. You know, and for him to be able to work with our group all the way through this restart, like I said, this is benefiting him, and, you know, this is what I had hoped for, you know, before he was injured, before the first training camp. Yes.
Hey Frank, I'm curious, did you guys talk to Kuzma about making an adjustment to a shot, or did that come from him? And then is there anything you guys have talked to him throughout the season about, you know, wanting to tweak in his game specifically?
No, you know, I wouldn't overstate, you know, any kind of tweaks to his jump shot. He just works, you know what I mean? He works on the shot. All of our guys work on their shot. You know, try little different subtleties to improve, but it's the repetition that he puts in. You know, that's the reason why he's making shots at a higher rate, not any types of tweaks. And in terms of any tweaks to his game, you know, we really just have always been on him in our whole group, really, about reading defense and just making the right play. You know, if that means you come off and you have, you know, 9-10 assists and very limited shot attempts because that's what the defense gives you, then that's the right way to play. You know, if the defense is not honoring you, you know, and they're giving you the shot or the right play to make is to go create, you know, then we want them to do that. And, you know, he had a scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage about a week ago, where he had about 4 or 5 great passes in a row. And I came over and I said, I'm not going to come over and tell you great job passing the ball. I'm going to come over and tell you great job reading the defense, you know, and that's all we want him to do. And, you know, he's been doing a great job with it.
Yeah, Coach, before Anthony Davis got hurt today, you were clearly setting up the stagger with him and LeBron, and he was really good in those minutes without LeBron on the floor before he got hurt. Is that, how stringent do you think you will be to that stagger come playoff time to always have one of the two on the floor?
You know, it makes sense. We'll probably stick with that. You know, I think with what Kuz is doing, you know, it gives you, and the way Alex has been playing, I think, you know, you have some lineups that we can put out there that we have confidence in, even if LeBron and AD were not in. But we likely would probably have one of those two guys in the game.
All right, last question, Coach.
Hey, Frank, just to elaborate a little more on the rotation question. You talk about having 9, 10, 11 guys perhaps in a game. Do you picture it being the same, or, you know, could that, especially like 8 through 10, be different, kind of feature different guys game to game?
Yeah, it definitely could be different. In particular, the seeding games. You know, I just want to make sure that, you know, all those guys, whatever number you want to say, from 9 to 11 to 13, you know, all those guys get enough opportunities to get comfortable in our system. Mm-hmm. You know, and we get enough of an opportunity to evaluate them at the right way. But yeah, I could see, you know, that it could be game to game or series to series for sure.